Welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a full review on the new palette from Artist Couture. They just launched a palette and some lipsticks and I think a new diamond glow powder, which I did not pick up. I actually ended up only picking up the palette and 2 lipsticks. Now, in yesterday's video, you guys heard me talk about I will not be picking up any new collections for the time being. I am like putting a halt on everything, and I want to make it perfectly clear. I will be continuing to do reviews here on my channel during this time. However, I will never encourage you to run out and grab anything. I feel like everybody's financial situation is different right now. And we're all kind of in this like limbo of really not for sure what's going to happen and what's going to go on. I'm going to continue to review stuff that I have previously bought before all of this happened. This was actually the last collection that I bought, and it will be for probably the next month or so. But I will continue to do reviews, but in a very sensitive way, because I do know that this is a very sensitive situation. Financially, health-wise, there's a lot of uncertainties going on right now, and I want to be very sensitive to that. So I will never come on here, well, I never come on here and push anything down your throat anyways. That's just never been who I am. But if there's a product that I like during this reviewing process, I will let you know, but I will also encourage you, you know, you will have plenty of time to buy anything you want after we get through this craziness. But I will continue to do, you know, several reviews on products that I've had and just haven't had a chance to get to, which this will be a nice time for me to get to them. But this was the last collection that I bought, so I figured I would go ahead and put it up for you guys. Now, this is not a limited edition or anything, so like I said, this will be available when we get through this if this is something that you're interested in. This is called the Supreme Nudes palette, and it retails for $40. I actually bought it on the Artist Couture website. You know, I know that they sell Artist Couture at Sephora. I'm assuming that this will eventually be available at Sephora. I just don't know when. This palette is really beautiful. It has 12 shades. Looks very similar to a lot of palettes that we have. I mean, let's just be honest. We'll definitely be using the palette, and later on in the video, I'm going to be swatching it, and then also doing some swatch comparisons to other palettes that I have. This palette screams soft glam to me from Anastasia, so I will be doing some shade comparisons from this palette to that palette and several other neutral palettes that I have in my collection, just in case you guys have those palettes and you're curious if this is something that's unique or maybe you already have. Also, they launched several lipsticks. I chose 2 different shades. These retail for $18, and I chose shade Power Play and Saucy Gal. So I will swatch both of those in the video and, you know, give you guys my thoughts on them. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into the eyeshadow look, and then we'll get into the swatches, and then I will get into my final thoughts. So I will see you guys then. So I got this new palette and I am ready to share it with you guys. So this is called the Supreme Nudes from Artist Couture. Now, to be 100% honest with you, this palette is a little bit darker than what's showing up on camera. This is a very cool toned palette in my personal opinion. Yeah, the golds are a little warm, like the shimmer shades have a little bit of warmth to them, but majority of the mattes are more cool toned. So that's gonna be kind of fun. Now, I suspect that these are all shades that we probably have, but the only reason why I decided to pick this up is because I wanted to feel the quality. I know that this is Artist Couture's first palette, and I wanted to kind of get to know the quality of the actual shadows themselves. Comes in this very sleek black box. Ingredients here on the back, and I will just hold this up so you guys can take a screenshot in case you need it. It came with this card with his face on it, and then on the back it has the palette, which was $40, the lipstick, which I have 2 of those, and the highlighters. Now, I didn't buy the highlighters because I didn't need it. Let's just be honest. I really didn't need to try the highlighters. Plus, I have this one from Jaclyn Cosmetics. This one is kind of similar to the diamond powder from Artist Couture. So I thought I already have something like that. I don't need to go overboard and grab another one, you know? So that's why I just opted out. But I have heard that the new shade that was dropped with this launch is absolutely beautiful. That is what I've heard. I think first I'm gonna grab the shade Exposed, this one right up here on the top. I'm just gonna sweep this all over the lid, all into the crease, and just kind of use it as like a brightener. But I'm excited to see the quality of these shadows. Like, are they buttery? Are they pigmented? Are they a fallout mess? You just never know. I'm gonna first start with the shade Transcend, this one right here. Let's go ahead and start kind of putting this in the crease. And I'm using my mini booster. I think that's what this is called. Yeah, mini booster from Saucy Gal. So let's just start kind of mapping things out, kind of bringing that out. Okay, so far that shade blends really good. Like, I'm not having any issues with it. Okay, so I'm gonna take this brush from Rephr, number 2 brush, and I'm gonna put that shade on my lower lash line. I'm just gonna place this right underneath my lower lash line. Now this is a type of color that is like perfect for like on the go. I mean, I guess we're really not going anywhere right now, but you know, for those days where you just want to throw something in the crease and head out the door, or throw something underneath your, you know, your lower lash, it is a really pretty color. It really is. And so far based on that color alone, the shadows feel very buttery. They feel pretty pigmented and pretty buttery. So I'm curious how, you know, they're gonna build. I'm gonna add some right here on this outer corner. I really don't know what I'm gonna do. Like, normally I never plan my eyeshadow looks. Like, normally I just start throwing stuff together. Now I'm gonna switch to this shade right here, which is called Aesthetic. And kind of just focus this. Focus this here on the outer corner. Okay. I really feel like these shadows are really soft. Like, so far, they have a nice soft texture to them. I'm gonna take my Rephr number 14 brush. I'm gonna go into that shade. I always like a good wispy brush. I just like a raspy, wispy brush. I don't know what it is, but for me and like my technique, a raspy, wispy brush just always just kind of gives me that like final blend, that final, you know, I don't know why, but that was one thing that I always loved about my Morphe brushes. My M504, I think, it's the smaller one. Let me see. This one right here. No, it's the M506. This one has that wispiness to it at the end, and it's small. If you guys are on a budget when it comes to brushes, I love this brush for so many different reasons, but this one is very wispy and kind of gives you that raspiness. I love that brush. It's one of my favorite Morphe brushes. Love it so much. Okay, I'm gonna grab a little bit of that shade and put it here on this outer corner. 8 of the 12 shadows in that palette are mattes, so it's kind of a perfect palette to do a full matte eye with, and I'm getting fabulous blend. Okay, I'm gonna grab this brush. This is the Flat Definer from Saucy Gal, and I'm gonna mix between these two. So I'm gonna grab the Aesthetic and Mink. So I'm just gonna kind of like mix back and forth between these two. Start kind of like mapping that out here on this outer corner. Now this, I'm sorry, my camera focused on my mirror and not my eyeball. Right away, you'll notice that these mattes have a shine to them. I don't know if it's showing up on camera, but as I'm building up this dark color, you see how it has that shine to it? Those are one of my favorite mattes, and I'll tell you why. They're always rich and bold. When they have a tiny bit of that shine to them, they stand out more so than like a dusty, dirty looking matte. And the shine gives you a depth within the eyeshadow look or whatever you're building on top of it. And so I actually prefer mattes that have just a little bit of that shine. So far, I'm really impressed. Okay, I'm gonna actually wipe that brush off, and I'm gonna go into Nudist. This one right up here. Kind of just using it as a base. I'm gonna use is this shade right here. And the reason is because it feels more like a topper versus a shimmer. Oh, that's pretty, isn't it? That's a really pretty shade. And that's pretty. I'm keeping it in this area only for right now because I didn't know what I was going to do with this inner corner, and I might do a halo eye. So I'm going to wipe that brush off. I am going to go into Transcend first, and I'm going to put that on this inner corner and kind of like blend it into that gold. Okay, that brush has all that gold on it. Been lazy on cleaning my brushes. Next, I'm gonna go into these two right here, the Aesthetic and Mink. Actually, I'm gonna just first stick with the Aesthetic first, because I don't know if I want that inner corner to be as dark as the outer corner. So I might just stick with that shade first. I might go in with a little teeny bit of dark. I'm gonna go in with a little bit of Mink. Now I'm going to take my finger and go into Opulence again. Just make sure that I kind of bring that back to life. So I'm going to grab a, just like a flat tipped brush like this. This is the flat definer from Sigma, the E15. And I'm going to go into the shade Mink, that really dark color. I am going to buff that in to this outer corner, keeping it all right here. But like, I've loaded both sides of the brush, and so I buff each side of the brush for 5 to 10 seconds. So I just keep kind of doing this, turn it around and do it again. And it'll really kind of buff and like melt that in. And then I'm going to bring whatever, a little bit in, but not, just so you don't have a line, but keeping it so close to the outer corner. And do the exact same thing on the on the other, I can't speak, holy crap. I'm going to do the exact same thing on the upper waterline. This time I'm going to be a little bit more diligent with it, because if I start moving it back and forth, I will get a lot of fallout. I do more of like a stamping motion versus rubbing back and forth, if that makes sense. So yeah, I am kind of giving myself a tiny bit of a wing right here. Just a little teeny bit of a wing. Probably use a brown eyeliner on the upper waterline, and then I will throw some mascara on. I will come back. Oh, I forgot. I got to put some of this on. This is the Jaclyn Hill. This is the, what is this called? The loose highlighter. This one's in the shade Bomb. It's a really beautiful gold color. So I like to just take a brush like this, just a tiny little brush, and just go down into the lid, into the cap. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit of this right here. Okay, so I threw a pair of lashes on, and the full disclosure, as you guys know, I'm trying to grow out my lashes on this side, and I'm trying, like, as this whole quarantine thing has happened, and all the days that I've been on break, with the deaths in my family and stuff, I really haven't been wearing makeup. And so I'm trying to get this side to grow out. This side is growing like crazy, and I'm so happy, but this side's like, yeah, no. I don't know what the problem is. So I don't really want to wear lashes, but I kind of have to right now because there's just no lashes right here. And my daughter stole my dark glue, the duo, so anyway, I'm going through all of my lashes and like pulling them all out. And these are from Violet Voss. They are called the Wisp It Real Good. So anyway, okay, I am pulling things out of storage, seriously. All right, so I bought 2 lipsticks. I have the shade Saucy Gal. So that's what it looks like on my skin tone. Really pretty. And then we have Power Play. So Power Play is just a shade or 2 darker than Saucy Gal. So just so you guys can see that. And they do have a nice shine to them. as you can see, as it reflects off the lights. It does have a nice shine to them. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to apply these without a lip liner so you guys can see what they look like on my little itty bitty lips. I'm going to start with the darker color first, which is Power Play. Okay, so they feel really good. They're kind of a thinner formula, but still pigmented. Sometimes when you apply a lipstick, you can tell it's just like a thick, rich formula. I feel like this is not a super thick, rich formula. It's kind of a thinner, but yet pigmented formula. So it's really, really lightweight is basically my point. But I think Power Play is really pretty actually, and it does look really pretty on my skin tone. So I'm gonna go ahead and wipe this off. And let's put on Saucy Gal. So Saucy Gal, I will probably have to wear with a lip liner. It's just really nude. And that's just what it is. It's really pretty though. It's a pretty nude, but it's just really nude. And for me and my little baby like lips, because I have such small lips, that I need when I wear a color like this, I have to have a lip liner just to kind of make my lips look a little bigger. So I'm gonna use this from KKW Beauty. It's the lip liner in the shade Icon. It's a very neutral brown. That's the reason why I chose this color. So let's put on Saucy Gal again with this on. I'm gonna use a fluffy brush to kind of buff out that line. I am patiently waiting for the day where the trend of having these big balloon, like blown out fish lips goes away. Like I'm waiting for that trend because my lips are baby lips. Like why can't little teeny thin lips come into fashion? Wouldn't that be nice? It's a false sense of hope, I know. Okay, so what I'm looking for with this lipstick, I don't know if you guys watched that video a couple of weeks ago. I think it might have been like bad products of 2019 or something like that. In the video, I used this gloss and I just kind of put it on because I thought it looked really pretty. And this one's in the shade Sugar Baby. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna put this on and wear it. Well, it's a really pretty color. It's like really glittery. Well, it balled up and like dunked up in the corners of my mouth like crazy. And I had these like little balls. Did not look good, was kind of gross. It didn't really perform like I liked. So this is not my favorite gloss formula per se. So this lipstick, I'm kind of keeping my eye on it to see if it's a lipstick that will build up that same way. You know, like right here in the creases of your lips, you know how that is? There can sometimes be a separation. Let's go ahead and jump straight into the swatches and then I will get into my final thoughts. So let me get into my final thoughts about this palette and the two lipsticks. I was going through and editing my video and realized that I'd never come on here and gave you my final thoughts. Shows you where my brain is these days, right? So where did my lipsticks go? I have no idea what I did with the lipsticks, but I will say, you know, yesterday I wore those lipsticks all night light. I wore those lipsticks all day yesterday, and they actually are really comfortable. I don't know that you need to absolutely run out and get them. Like, unless you're in the mood for a new shade or, you know, whatever, then I think they're, you know, a nice brand to look into as far as picking it up. I don't feel like it's anything different than what we already have, if that makes sense. So I don't feel like the lipstick formula is like revolutionary in any way. It's just a beautiful lipstick. It did last a while. Because as a lipstick, it's not going to last as long as some of the others, but it is a beautiful lipstick. So I wanted to bring that up. But the palette, I actually really like this palette. Again, you don't need to run out and grab this palette right now. Wait. I would really look through your collection. As you saw in the swatches, I compared it to the Dominique Cosmetics Latte palette. I compared it to the Honey palette, the Naked Honey from Urban Decay. I also compared it to the Soft Glam palette. It was, as I thought, there was a lot of similar shades in the Soft Glam as this one. So if you have any of those palettes that I just mentioned, I wouldn't run out and grab this. I just wouldn't. The only way that I would grab this is, number one, if you're interested in, you know, these shades, because these shades are really pretty and you need something, you know, a little bit more on the neutral side. Number two, if you're interested in the brand and supporting the brand. If this is on your radar and this is something that you're wanting to get, I think you'll enjoy the formula. It's very soft, very buildable, but also you get really good pigmentation. I didn't have any issues blending out this palette. Like, the palette just blends. It's just a really, really good formula. On a scale from 1 to 10, I would give this like a 7.5. It's a really decent palette, especially for the price, being that it's a higher end brand. So I do like the palette. I do. I think it's a great palette, but don't feel any pressure to run out and grab it. This is not a limited edition. This palette will be there when we get through all of this craziness. So, you know, don't rush out and grab anything. I want to make that clear. I'm only doing reviews because these are things that I've had, but I never want to, you know, make you guys feel like you need to rush out and grab any of the things that I'm talking about or I will be reviewing here in the next month on my channel. But this is a nice palette. It really is. So I hope that this video was helpful for you guys. Thank you so much for hanging out with me in today's video. I want you guys to all know that you are all in my prayers and I love you and we're going to get through this all together as a family. I'm so happy to be back filming. It just makes me a better person. It just does. It makes me a happier person and it's an outlet for me and I'm so grateful for that. So have a wonderful day and I will see you guys all in tomorrow's video. Love you. Bye.